Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Femme Force podcast. My name is Rachael Pasquin, and I am your host. And today I'm really excited because I am joined by my new travel friend, Liz. She is the founder of Rome Circle, a global community app connecting solo female travelers, digital nomads, and expats. So I'm so excited to talk about my favorite topic, which is female entrepreneurship, travel, and community. So, Liz, thank you so much for being here. I'm really excited to talk about this.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited.
So tell us about what Rome is. We know it's an app and we know for it's a global community, but what really is Rome?
Yeah, Rome Circle is an app for female solo travelers, digital nomads, and expats. It's basically like a Bumble BFF with events and travel groups and solo travel guides. It's basically turning into kind of a network of women supporting women globally, whether you're new to a city, whether you're traveling, whether you're an expat, whether you're just, looking for friends for an evening or you're looking to settle and make roots. But it's really about having community for women everywhere in the world.
I love that. And I mean, it's a huge part of my life. I know it's a huge part of your life. And so you were a corporate girly for a long time. You were doing the corporate hustle, the whole nine yards. So what made you want to leave your corporate, career to build this kind of community?
Well, to be honest, corporate, I was part of it for a very long time, and this decision was kind of made for me. About a month and a half ago, I got laid off of my corporate job, but I was building this whole startup this whole year and working full time corporate. And was extremely burnt out. But honestly, I didn't even realize I was burnt out. I'm just like, oh, I'm just a high functioning woman.
Yep. Yep. That's a thing.
um, and just like on adrenaline and just living this life, and then I got laid off. About 50 employees got laid off, and I'm like, all right, got to get back in the job search because I live in Miami and I have a high rise apartment and I have this lifestyle and I have all this, and I'm like, wait a minute, no, I don't. I don't have to do this, and I was interviewing for all these jobs and, I was making it to final rounds. Like I did not have an issue getting interviews. I did not have an issue getting final rounds with any company. But honestly, when I got to these final rounds and it's just like I was just going through the motions. I was literally asking ChatGPT a minute before like the screen interviews. I'm like, what does this company do and why am I a perfect fit? Because I'm just like, I just want a job. Like I didn't
Yeah.
care was. I didn't care what the product was. I'm like in B2B SaaS. I'm like, I don't care what the hell your software does, you know?
You're like, "I'll sell what you ever you need me to sell."
Yeah, I'm like, I got you. I'm like, I don't care, well, let's do it. And when I was getting to these interviews, the people knew, like the CEOs, the CMOs, like they knew that I wasn't in it. They knew I wasn't passionate. They knew I was reading off of my slides and just going through the motions.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, you know what? The only reason that I wanted another corporate job was to fund my lifestyle and then to, put all my money towards my startup.
Yeah.
And I'm like, my startup is about freedom. It's about community. It's about traveling. And I'm like, if I have like what my 3 weeks of my corporate vacation that I'm building a solo travel digital nomad community, I'm just like, those two things don't align. They're not the same thing. And I also a couple months ago, I'm very much into manifestation. I was like, "Hey, universe, put me in my highest timeline. This is like what my dream and blah blah blah." And the universe was like, "Got you. Go ahead."
Love that though, but you tell it what you want, it's gonna laugh and turn it right around on you.
Yeah, I'm like, "Not like that."
I mean, because you were coming out of, a really big breakup and, you wanted to take this huge leap. What do you feel like you say to women who feel stuck in their careers, but don't what wanna take that leap like you
I
did?
mean, it's scary. It's really scary. Comfort, insurance, like all those things. And I honestly, it takes big balls, and unfortunately, I've had to make a lot of hard decisions in my life, and And I think whenever you make a hard decision, a lot of other decisions become easier. For instance, I think solo traveling has taught me a lot about decision making because you have to be very, quick. You have to be aware of your surroundings. You're making micro decisions on your own and you're fully reliant on yourself. And then when you build that self trust, I think that is the most important thing about making decisions is when you very much you trust yourself. And that's not easy. And sometimes you might get forced into it, and that's kind of where I'm at. I'm not, everybody's like, you got to go all in on your thing, and I'm like, a lot of people are not all in on their thing. A lot of people are building something on the side and doing their corporate, and that's very common. But you can't give it 100% if you're living this double life.
No, 1,000%. And I think, especially when it comes to travel and when you're solo traveling, like I did it I studied abroad before we had international iPhones weren't even a thing, guys. Old I am, but like we were doing it and you had to figure it out on your own. We were like doing internet research with like MapQuest to figure out how to get from point A to point B. But you're right, all of those micro decisions that you're making, those are huge also life lessons that you can learn because if you can travel alone, if you can plan a trip and do it alone, you're
You could
doing
do anything.
yeah, you're doing huge logistical work there that you don't
Mhm.
even realize can, account for your corporate life or your entrepreneur journey or whatever it might be. But you're also making these huge decisions. It's the one thing I always tell young women or when dads ask me, like, what's the one thing, like, piece of advice you give my daughter? I'm like, travel alone, solo
Mhm.
travel. I'm like,
And
you
it's scary.
learn
Yeah,
so
it's
much
scary
about
for a lot
yourself,
of
though.
people, and, like, the safety things and all of
Yeah.
that and not knowing where to go, and it's like it's something that is very intuitive to me, but that's also why I wanted to build Rome Circle because I'm like, "This is something that's very intuitive to me, and I'm very comfortable eating alone," but sometimes you do want somebody to go grab a glass of wine with or like, "Hey, I wanna go to this party, but I don't wanna go by myself," or, so to have that option and to have community that's built in, I think is gonna make a lot of women wanna travel solo that perhaps were not, the thinking that they could even do it.
No, I think one of the hardest things is being alone and
Mhm,
being okay with your own company, but the dining alone thing, such a huge that's the turning point of travel for me is when you can dine alone, and when you can go back to your home country and do it. I think dining alone in Europe or, like, I bring a Kindle everywhere I go, so I always have a book
mhm.
and, like, or people watching in Paris, like, cafe
That's
culture,
easy, yeah.
that's easy. Coming to a city near you where you live and dining when you're not there for work, where you're like, "Well, I have to, and so this is normal." People obviously think I'm here for work, but when you, like, dine on your own in the city that you live, it's a completely different vibe.
Yeah, and I don't mind it at all. I feel like a lot of people will see somebody eating by themselves like, "Oh, I feel so bad for 'em," like, I'm exactly where I wanna be, like
I'm like, I'm having the exact conversation I wanna have with this book. I
Yeah.
what I wanna eat, and I'm enjoying. I'm like, "I'm judging you and watching your first date. It's not going that great." Like, you guys
Yeah, I'm, like, all up in your business over there.
1,000%. So when you were building Rome and you were thinking about, what was needed in the travel space, what makes this community different than, like, me going on not Bumble BFF, but just Bumble and, trying to find a date in a foreign country, which, guys, I have tried to do before.
Yeah, I mean, that's very common. It's actually called a, international entanglement or solo travel, those, messy. It's very, very common for women to go on dating apps and also, the Bumble BFF and things like that. But it's also I really wanted to create something that is for this woman. And it's not only just somebody that's traveling solo or nomading, it's also for a woman that is new in her city and the reason that this is so personal to me is 5 years ago, I moved to Miami. I didn't know a single soul. I found a lot of different communities. There's one community called New Miami Girls, and it was started by a girl who was on Bumble BFF looking for friends. And then she started a Facebook group, and it turned into now 20,000, strong and it was basically like, okay, like let's go. We're new to Miami. Let's make friends and we'll go have a picnic on the beach or something. It was so like simple. And then now she has like networking and all of this, and it turned into something really beautiful. But there's a lot of people that are new to a city, especially in transient cities. And that's a lot of the cities that I focus on for Rome Circle is like, Mexico City, those like kind of nomadic cities, Lisbon,
Huge expat, yeah.
Barcelona, yeah, Bali, a lot of people, it's like people that are in and out that are looking for, community, whether it's for someone to go out to dinner with or a lifelong friend. I just really wanted it to feel like that kind of inclusive community for women.
I love that, and so walk me through it. You open up the app. How does it work?
Yeah, so basically I took a lot of Bumble BFF. You make a profile. It's like literally you could swipe through profiles and see, like, what you're into. It's like if you're a foodie, if you're into fitness and things like that. And like it's like, you make your profile, you can connect, you can chat, and it's literally like, hey, like you're in the city, I'm in the city, we have a lot in common. Let's go grab dinner. And then I also am partnered with a lot of the larger women communities in a lot of cities. Like for instance, in Mexico City, I'm partnering with a group called Mexico City and Foreigner Girls Club. So it's like an inclusive community of women that are already established in that city. So for instance, if you are traveling solo and you see Mexican and Foreigner Girls Club are doing a brunch and you want to go hang out, you don't want to do one-on-one and you want to go to a dinner, if you want to go to Pilates or go to like a day excursion or something like that. And then I'm partnered with another group in Lisbon called Nomad Girls Club, which is also a very nomadic city. A lot of expats are in Portugal. It's one of the largest growing expat communities in the world right now. So it's a lot of women that are, just settling and making roots. And also women that are in and out and nomading. It's like a huge city for nomads too. So it's that's basically how I bring different communities on the app. It's basically like a network of female communities.
No, 1,000%, and I mean, travel is such, like, a huge thing. It's something that we're all we're trying to all do, or, like, there's so many women that wanna do it, and you've solo traveled, so you did it during for a really healing portion of your life, and, to get back a part of yourself that you kind of lost. Looking back, what did that experience teach you? What did traveling solo teach you about yourself?
Yeah, for sure. So when I was solo traveling, I didn't realize that I was healing through movement. And a lot of people heal in different ways. And I guess for context for the listeners, the way that I kind of started this journey was basically at the end of 2024. I had a wedding, but unfortunately, my partner was struggling with drug addiction and alcohol addiction and was relapsed on drugs and alcohol at the wedding, at the altar in Dominican Republic in front of our, closest friends and family. And we were planning on, as our honeymoon, to do solo traveling and nomading, through Costa Rica. And we were going to put all our stuff into storage. And then, after that whole fiasco at the altar, I was like, listen, and I need to choose myself. This is not the life that I want for myself, but I still want to do that thing that we talked about, but I want to do it by myself. And that's how I started my year. I was traveling. I went to 12 different countries. I did not know I was not supposed to be digital nomading for my company. They're just like, you're allowed to work remote from your house. I'm like, oh.
Like, you failed to mention that. Sorry, tax implications.
Yeah, well, they found out, like, in November. I've after months and months of me doing this, and I've already started Roam Circle, but, that's what I was doing. I was kind of like, "All right, I need a new environment. I need kind of this. I wanna explore," and that's how I healed a lot last year was, a lot of these new experiences, and everyone on Instagram like, "Wow, Liz, I love your life. I want your life." Like, "Girl, you don't know. You don't know what the hell's
There's a
going
lot
on."
going on, yeah, behind the doors, like, that you might not be seeing, like, 1,000%.
Yeah.
But I love that travel is, like, what helped you, and, like, solo traveling too. It also tells other women that, like, it's possible. You can go out and you can do this by yourself. I think one of my favorite things is when people are like, "Wait, you went there alone?" And I'm like, "Yeah." They're like, "Oh, should've waited for, like, a boyfriend or something." I'm like, "If I was waiting for a
Why is
man,
it
I would never see anything. I would have seen everything in
exactly.
my life if I was waiting for a man."
Exactly, or if you're waiting for even someone to go with, like, I think that's the thing too, is a lot of people are afraid to do things by themselves. Like, I can go to a club by myself, I could do literally anything by myself. Like, I rented a car in Costa Rica, like, a month and a half ago. I'm, like, stuck in the mud in the middle of nowhere, and I'm like, "Alright, I by myself to myself way too hard." Like, so sometimes, sometimes it's good to maybe have a companion around, but when you do trust yourself a lot and you are comfortable in your own company, and I think, people kind of back to the eating dinner by yourself, if you're comfortable with your own company and you're comfortable with your own self, it's easier for you to connect with other people. And I feel like some people think that's like backwards or whatever. It's like, oh, like I'm an introvert or blah blah blah. Like you only can know people as deeply as you know yourself. And there's no better way to know yourself when you're in uncomfortable situations or you're, dealing with loneliness or all these different feelings. If you're not able to process that on your own, then you're not gonna be able to process that with someone else.
1,000%. I mean, and when you made this, so it's also not just for the solo travelers, but also for the community and to like make friends, obviously. So why do you feel like travel friendships become so meaningful for women?
Honestly, well, that's the thing is just like your guard is down, especially when you're traveling and having community, whether it's you're traveling or in a new city. Female friendships, I think, are so healing and so important for us. And I feel that like women as a species, we are so tribal. We heal together, we regulate together. And now that we're starting to remember how powerful like female friendships are, it's really cool to have, places where it's kind of the option. It's like why either that you're traveling or you find a travel group. That's also something that I'm working on now
Yeah.
is like different travel groups and stuff like that, especially for women that are like, I'd like to travel solo. I don't have any friends that to travel with. So I'd like to maybe join a group where it's all curated for me and I can meet friends like that and like match with people that are kind of similar to me. Um, but I just think that it's so important. It's also so much fun, like kind of going back to like waiting for a partner to, like take you somewhere. It's like, maybe
You're
you'll
waiting
find
a really long time, ladies.
yeah.
I mean, and so when you made this for retreats and these kind of group things like that, I mean, that's how I've made some of my best and close friends through these women led travel groups, just because you find a group of women who are, in the same socioeconomic background as yourself, so that they can afford to go on these trips. They can afford to go on other trips like that. And
Mhm.
so no matter what, I can text a group and be like, hey, I'm going to Scotland in
Be right there.
yeah, does anybody
I'm
wanna
on
come?
my
Like, I
way.
kinda don't wanna do it alone, or I will if I have to, but
Mm.
I think it's also such an amazing thing to have that kind of community, especially, like and just those go-to women that have the same kind of interest as you, and who also can travel well, because if they're getting on these group trips.
Yeah, I also on the app, I also have, like, travel style because it's like you
Well,
can't
yeah.
be because I mean, I'm the so even before Rome Circle, my father has been a travel agent for 40 years, so travel is already something that's very, kind of like in my DNA, but I was in corporate, like, it wasn't anything that I was doing seriously, but I was always the one that was coordinating our group trips, like all the girls' trips. Like I'm a planner, like everything's on a spreadsheet, all the excursions, all the dinners, like all the outfits on the spreadsheet. Like I loved doing that. But I have traveled with some people that I'm like, "Ooh, I can never travel with you again. Like you've been complaining this whole damn
Yeah.
time." Like I'm like, "Yes, it's hot. Yes, the flight is delayed, like, okay, yeah, we're gonna it's a 20-minute walk on cobblestone streets." It's like, there's certain people that you just cannot vacation with, and it's like, I love you to death, but absolutely not.
No, but I mean and it's so important, though, and you also learn a lot about your own travel style and just what goes and what doesn't go, like, you
Mhm.
can afford to have that. I think filling out those roommate questionnaires are very important, ladies, be honest. If you don't
Yeah,
if
or
I
like
don't
the bill
just
comes and like, "Oh, like I only ate a crouton." Like, "Girl, you were eating everything. What do you mean?"
Like, this isn't yeah, we're not splitwising every single, like, little thing down to the wire, like, no, I agree. It very much is how your travel you everybody has a travel style, and you pretend like you don't, but you 1000% do. And
Yeah.
when you're doing these retreats, you have a retreat that you're in the midst of coming up with and thinking about called Soft Girl Summer Metamorphosis Retreat.
Yes,
So,
yes.
what inspired this retreat, and what can women expect from it?
Yeah, so fun fact, back to kind of communities and things like that. I met this awesome girl through like a women's networking community. We followed each other on Instagram, and I saw that her story was very similar to mine. And she's a life coach, that's like part of, like resetting your nervous system and all of these things. And she also left corporate. She also left a difficult relationship. And now she's kind of, doing international speaking and doing also kind of like her thing and healing. And I'm like, wait a minute, we have a lot, and I think we have very similar missions. And I reached out to her. I was like, without even having an idea about doing a retreat, I was just like, let's connect. I feel like we have a lot in common. And it turned into like very quickly, like, hey, we should host a retreat this summer, like a girls' trip. And it's honestly like not a healing retreat because that's like we both heal very similarly, which is through movement and through having fun. And I think a lot of people think like healing is like this sad thing where you're journaling and you're crying every day
Yep.
and and like it doesn't have to be that way. You're allowed to have fun while you're healing. You're allowed to travel and, while you're grieving, you're allowed to maybe not even be going through anything and just want to have a good time. So we, decided to put this retreat together. We found a gorgeous mansion in Marbella, and we're doing basically like candlelight dinners to start the evening to kind of just like get it's like basically like soften and expand. So basically we come in kind of, everyone lets their guards down, and then we just have fun for the weekend. Like we have like a yacht day, what's it called? We have like beach clubs, and it's just like about really having fun, embodying your authentic self. And like in the morning, I'll be leading like a static dance and movement. We have a Pilates instructor coming one morning. We're going to be doing like breakfast and things like that. And the place is so big where everybody basically like you have like you're also like your privacy. It's not like a bunch of, like 20-year-olds like in a one
Yeah, you have to share a house.
yeah, sharing a one hotel room, people sleeping on the floor, like we've been there, done that. Like, it's not like it's soft girl summer. Like we're not fighting for our lives, we're having fun.
I love that description though, because that's amazing. And I mean, these kind of retreats, I mean, they can transform you because you can make these kind of friendships. You can find your community. You can also find yourself. What are you hoping that people that, go on this trip get out of it?
Honestly, to feel comfortable to take up space. That's something that's very strong to me. And I've especially like when I meet a lot of like younger girls that they're in a I'm just like, yes, put yourself out there, make friends. And they're just like, I needed to hear that. But like I have anxiety around meeting new people and things like that. And I'm just like, why? Like you don't have to be and the thing
1,000%.
it's also about like showing up as your authentic self. That's also something like part of my, like, whole motif is just really being yourself and, like, you're the right people will find you. But also, I just want people to feel expanded. I feel like expansion is so like, we're always trying to shrink into fitting into certain things, and it's like, "Oh, you're either the clean girl or aesthetic or this," and, like, you can be so many things. We are so expansive as women, like, we could be soft, we can be playful, we could be ferocious, we could be fierce, we can be caring, we could be all those things. All those things can exist at the same time, and all of that is welcome here.
I love that. And I think, I mean, wouldn't it make, I mean, I'm going to be looking up to go onto this trip. I mean,
Yes, come.
when you're doing this expansive work and you're expanding yourself right now. You are in the midst of a move. You are selling and giving away everything you own, which love here for it, cleansing basically. And you're moving abroad. So talk about this and like where did this decision come from and how do you feel about it?
I mean, I the thing about me is I'm a very I move with my heart. I'm a Cancer. I'm just like if something feels right, it feels
Yeah.
right. Also, after this whole like losing my job situation, and being like, "Okay, like, I need another corporate job to do this and do that," and I'm like, "Wait a minute. I don't have to do that. I don't have to do that." And it's scary, but then I have the opportunity. I actually met someone really amazing about, like, a year ago, that lives in Paris, so I'll be, going, there. But they were just like, "Hey, like, come here." Like, they have a two-bedroom apartment, and it's like, "Figure things out here, like, work on your business." And I'm like, "Okay." Like, that's totally fine, and I'm like
Not the worst Paris isn't the worst place to go, figure it
I
out.
mean, right now it's hot as hell, so
They're doing the foil on the window. Have you seen that? They're, like, spritzing the water and you put the foil on and the reflecting of the thing, like, I'm seeing all of my friends in Paris are doing this foil thing, and I'm like, "Okay." I was like,
Yeah, I'm like, "You need air conditioning before I get there, number 1." But I'm like they're like, "Oh, it's all sold out." He's like, "But I'm getting 2 fans." I'm like, "2 fans? Just blowing hot air?" And I told
Put
one of
some
my
Evian mist behind it, it'll be a whole spa experience.
No, and I told one of my friends, and she was like, "He's trying to roast you like a pig." And I sent that to him, and he's like, "You are my little pig." I'm like, "You can't call me a pig." I'm like, "I'm not coming anymore."
You're like, "But I am." But still, air conditioning, dude, air conditioning.
Yeah, I'm like, "You have 2 weeks to figure it out before I get there." So I'm like, "That place better be crispy cold."
I love this. And so, I mean, this is a big move for you, and it's also, a chance to dive fully into Rome. So, what's next for Rome, do you feel like?
Well, now that I can actually focus my energy into it, so as I mentioned, my father's been a travel agent for 40 years.
Yeah.
He is 75 years old. And his business has been struggling for a while. Because he hasn't really modernized his
Yeah.
systems.
Understand.
Um, and also he's been taking money out of his retirement to pay his employees because it's just, like he feels I'm like, "You're 75 years old, like you can't be doing that." And one of the things that I originally, even before I had the idea for Rome Circle, was like me and my sister were like, "How can we help dad?" Like he put us through college. Like we have MBAs, we don't have any college debt. Like he's done so much for us. Like
Amazing.
we're
Yeah.
first generation Dominican American. Like it's also like 12% of Dominican women have master's degrees, and I'm like, I owe this man like so much. Um, so that's what I'm working on right now is modernizing his systems and then bringing it under Rome Circle because he has the infrastructure, he has the IATA, he has all of the technology. And then I also got us into a stronger like travel consortium, so we have access to more suppliers. So I'm also doing a couple interesting things with Rome Circle as well as like different packages for solo travelers. Like for instance, if you're interested in like like a curated solo trip, like if you want to go to Morocco, if you want to do like a Euro trip, or you want to do a South America like 2 week trip, everything is going to be fully planned. And I'm basically repackaging my father's packages and making them girly.
Oh,
So it's kind of like in a way, kind of doing it my own way. Then I'm also partnering with a really cool astrologer actually, and we're doing something it's called soul treats, which basically she does a personalized reading and astrocartography. So we basically create a very curated travel itinerary, and I could also book your trip based on where your energy is and where your lines are and what you're moving through. It's
love
like
that.
whether you're in like an expansion period or a healing phase, your eat, pray, love, where basically where all your lines are, we can map like, hey, based on XYZ, like a Bali would be really good for you. And these are the things that you should do there based on where your energy is. So I have a couple pretty cool,
This is
projects and
very cool. That's
also like,
amazing.
like the women retreats and things like that. And then over the summer, I'll be doing different meetups in Paris with like girls and stuff and then Barcelona. Just so I'm like, just literally just like living this
You're living
thing
the
that my
Rome life.
father created. Like,
You're
yeah,
living the Rome life. I think that's amazing.
yeah.
Fully embodying it, and that's phenomenal. So, I wanna ask some travel lightning questions to you because you've done a lot of them. So, what's one destination every woman should visit solo at least once?
Oh, Lisbon, Portugal. I mean, I'm a huge like I think it's such a feminine city too, and I also think it's one of the safest places for women to travel solo because also the Portuguese culture, like men don't catcall, like it's a very like safe place for women. And also like yeah, definitely Mexico City as well. Mexico kind of gets a bad rep sometimes, like that it's
Mexico City's
dangerous.
amazing, though.
Yeah, I'm just like, so it was like, you've never been like, I hate when people are like, "Oh, Mexico's dangerous." Like, you've never been to Mexico City then.
No, no,
Especially like if you're staying in like Roma Norte and like kind of those area, Polanco is so beautiful. I definitely recommend going there. Costa Rica for sure. Like, honestly everywhere. Places that I don't recommend for women to travel solo, maybe India. But definitely if you do a group trip, I think it's good, but not by yourself.
no, agreed. That's my least favorite country. Window or aisle seat?
Huh?
Window or aisle seat?
Oh, window, always window. I love to look outside the window, and also on a long flight, yeah, I've been in business class once or twice, but most of the time I'm sitting in 20 in 45Z. But if I'm in 45Z, best believe I need to lay my head on that window.
1000% agree. I'm a window seeker all the way. What's the most underrated city you've ever visited?
Most underrated city I've ever visited. Um, I think, Cusco in Peru. I think Peru in general, I mean, everyone's like, "Oh, Machu Picchu, Machu Picchu," but it's like Peru is the most incredible country in the world. Like, there is something for everybody. Like, you have the mountains, you have the jungle, you have the desert, you have the shore, you have the highest elevation lake in the world. Like, all those things are existing at the same time. And Cusco, it's so like European vibes, the best food. It's just so cool. It's so cool.
I love that. All right. What is the one travel item that you will never leave home without?
Okay, so I have a couple of them. One of them is a neck pillow that I can fit a bunch of clothes in. I put like all my leggings and all my bathing suits and stuff like that, and I stuff that thing to the brim because it's like I don't like to check bags. I don't care how long I am, but I'm like, do not lose my things. I want
Yep.
everything with me
Yep.
all the time. So I don't really like to check bags, and then I also have like a footrest that I can put on the back of the chair.
Yeah.
Like you tuck it into the meal tray, whatever, and you can put your feet up, especially on a long flight. And it's a game changer.
I love that. No, I've got both of those and they're amazing. Highly recommend. What is the one passport stamp you're most proud of?
Oh, yeah, actually, so it's not even a real stamp, but it's actually, well, it is a real stamp, but when you get to Machu Picchu, they give you a stamp. So like you have to go like to this little place and it's like a special one. And then they also have one at Lake Titicaca and you have to go like take the little like fan boat and they like some guy in his house stamps it for you. Like it's so cool.
I love that though, but what a great story also to be able to tell.
Yeah.
Like, not a lot of people have this.
Yeah, and it's also I found out that that's illegal, so don't do that. They
Yes,
they
they can deny your passport if you don't have a legal all only legal stamps in there. People have found that out the hard way, unfortunately.
I'm after somebody was just like, "It's illegal, right?" I'm like, "Oh,
Like, well,
great."
we'll just be getting another one then. Whoopsies. My last question that I like to ask all of my guests are, I mean, you're in a completely different phase of your life now doing these amazing things and, taking these big chances and starting these phenomenal projects. But if you could give one piece of advice to your 16-year-old self, what would that be?
That's such a good question. Aw,
Good
thanks
girl.
for bringing up. Um to not want everything to be so fast, and to just be present, especially when you're 16, you really want to grow up so fast, and you're like, "I want this," and blah, 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 and then also like, "Oh, by the time I'm this age, I'm gonna do this, and by the time I'm this age," and like, none of that happened, and also putting all of these fake, markers of like, "If I'm not married by this age," and blah, 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 and like, a lot of people check boxes just because they feel that they're supposed to do things. A lot of women do that and end up not being happy just because they are checking those boxes and they're just like, wait, why am I not happy? I did all the things on the list. You know what I mean? Like I did the thing. So now why? So it's about leaving room for the universe to surprise you and to be open.
I love that. I think that's amazing. I mean, it's advice we need to take now also, like, slow down, be in the moment, and not everything is going to happen according to the list or according to your timeline.
Yeah. I'm such a type A person. I'm just like, "Everything now, right now." And I'm
Oh,
thinking,
and I have 0 patience. It's a virtue that I do not possess. I possess none of that, and it's, something we work on in therapy all the time, but yeah, completely agree. You want it now, and you wanna see the reap the reward and everything else, but, it
mhm.
happens when it's supposed to in the most magical ways, I
Ugh,
think.
I know. My mom always tells me that. She's like, "Everything's gonna happen when it needs to happen." I'm just like, "Shut up, mom." I'm
You're
like,
like
"I don't need your sound advice right now."
I love that though. So everyone needs to go on, download Roam. It's ROAM Circle. You can find it on your app stores. Tell everybody where they can find you though on socials. We're going to put it on the show notes.
Yeah, follow me, on LizFierce21 on, Instagram if you wanna follow my unhinged life and all my antics. I love living life like a weirdo. And then Rome Circle app, for all of the girl trips and all of the fun travel shindigs. It's a big global girl community.
And we're here for that. We're here for community. I love travel. It's one of my vices. And so I highly recommend downloading this. Meet a new friend in a new place. Go to a new place, and go alone. Go out to dinner by yourself. If you can't afford
Yes,
a trip, go get yourself take yourself for a burger and a beer. Like we love that.
yes.
Just
Well, I hope you join me, in Marbella in
I'm
August.
gonna look into it. So don't think I won't, because I am that girl like you where I'm like, Don't have to tell me twice." Like, if it's
Yeah,
on the
F around and
calendar,
find out.
yeah, there's nothing on the calendar, then we're good to go. Liz, thank you
Awesome.
so much for talking about my favorite subject and about community and about this new app. I think it's gonna really go far, and I'm excited to see it.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me on.
Bye, everyone. We'll talk next week.